Well, howdy there, pipe pals and gals. If this is looking a little sparse to you, there is a reason for that. Because I am getting ready to make my move. I've already been moving some of my things. Still have a few things left, just stuff I use on a daily basis. But a lot of my stuff is now in a new locale. Speaking of locale, I need to really do locale for sure. Let's see here. Can I do this here? Okay, so hold on a second. We're gonna do a little bit of my coffee and Coke here. One of my favorite things. Got some coffee. This was given to me this morning, and I'm gonna squeeze it. Kind of like orange juice, fresh squeezed coffee. Yeah, there we go. Fresh squeezed coffee. Okay, kind of like milking the coffee machine there. Okay, all right, and there we go. Coffee and Coke. Oh, that'll keep you going. Yes, sir. It most certainly will. Okay, let's see. We got this here. Yeah, we got this. Oh, doesn't that look great? Oh yeah, awesome. And there's only one thing that will make that better. Okay. Greetings and salutation, pipe pals and gals. Oh, how you all doing? So, Holy Smoking Pipe Padre here. And I'm smoking, I just showed you saw my little, you could say my palette of pipes. What I've kind of held back as I'm moving most of my pipes, my collection, and my tobaccos are up in Tahoe City now, patiently waiting for their unveiling. And so I have kept a few things back. Whether or not I will smoke most of this, probably not, of course, but occasionally, rare moments like today seem to present themselves to where I can maybe make a video without being completely interrupted. It's late Saturday afternoon. And I'm smoking my squash tomato, my Legacy Dot squash tomato, which I got as an estate pipe from the Briar Patch about 4 or 5 years ago. And let's see here. What else was I going to say about this pipe? Oh, and I'm smoking in it some Sillam's Blueberry in the blue can. Yes, kind of maybe a summery kind of flavor that you might want to explore, might want to discover for yourself. Yeah, blueberry. Sillam's in the blue can. Okay, so, and here I am with my other elbow. I've got my coffee Coke confection creation. Okay, so how are you all doing? Hope you're doing well. It is day in June. This is my month video series. Because of being life as a pretty active padre now. For the next couple weeks, a few weeks, I'll still be kind of overseeing the two parishes that I'm seeing now. But then it'll be a big change as I move up to the Highlands. Looking forward to moving up to the Highlands. As one person said, God's country for sure. Can't wait to make one of my first video up there. I'm very excited and I'm very happy for this move. I'm hoping that it all will work out well. So anyway, but I just wanted to get on here and say hello to all of you, and I want to take this opportunity right now to kind of go through some of my responses or comments that I got on my a day in the May video. So let's roll that B-roll now. So I thought I would just take a little moment here and acknowledge some people who commented on my last video. Scarecrow Piper said, "Beautiful cat, always love watching your videos, Father. May the Lord be with you. Nice pipe, blood red moon is great smoke." It sure is. Law Dog Piper says, "Love Lake Tahoe. I have been going there for vacation since I was 10. Is Corpus Christi Church your new parish? It is a nice little church across from the lake, a beautiful area. If you like pine trees and water, you will be happy. God's country. Most assuredly, it is there." Gary H. Brad Curtis, thank you for another great video, Padre. The best thing about Game of Thrones is the conversations that it has generated, like your video. Nothing wrong with a good story that gets everyone involved in a communal conversation. Couldn't agree more. Seed 1 USA. What a great new assignment. Better bundle up. It's going to be cold. Winter is coming. Congratulations, laugh out loud. Okay, I forgot this guy here. Skull and Drummond. Okay, hello, Padre. I have really enjoyed your grounded view on life and the world. It inspires me to pursue the course of right, peace, and calm. Hope you are fulfilled in your new posting. Me too. Happy birthday, Elsie, says Graham A. Wilson. Thank you, Graham. Yep, Elsie, 3 years old on May 17th. Old Codger Jim. Entertainment is just entertainment and escape. Couldn't said it better. It's just a TV show, folks. It is only make-believe. Too many think it is important. Not monetary enjoyment. Oh, momentary enjoyment. Best wishes on the new parish. Well, thank you, Codger Jim. Peace be with you, too. That will be a sweet dig, says Dude City Piper. Yeah, I think you're right. Seed 1 USA again. Great ending. Well, thank you. Okay, and the Theo Bacchus. Haven't seen you in a long time, my friend. Eric. The Eric Austin Lee, of course. All the best in your move. New assignment to Tahoe, Father. Cheers, Eric. P.S. Never seen a single second of GOT. You probably haven't missed a whole lot, really. And come and see me sometime, Eric. Hope you're still on the California side of the world. Anonymous Piper, one of the best presenters on YouTube. My goodness, I don't know how to respond to that, but I'm very humbled. Glenn M., happy birthday, Elsie. Jeff Lowry, happy birthday, Elsie. Hope she got some extra treats and maybe some catnip. How about that? Elsie and I share a birthday. Oh, congratulations. Confirmation, and the bishop says it went well. Confirmation, yeah, there we go. And Vladas Vostok, I think I know who this gentleman is. Greetings from the Big R. I know who you are. DJ Close, couldn't agree more about the Game of Thrones. Outrage is just a show. I've been fine with it, I guess because I'm not plugged into the social media group think machine. It's laughable that a whining people think they get to do a redo. Never gonna happen. And I have to say, I totally agree with that. Okay, I'm back again. So want to thank all those people who commented on my last video. Thank you for your very positive comments. Always nice to get some, positive feedback from time to time. It's most appreciated. Oh, okay. So, this is my day in June, and as you can see, I'm going to play some B-roll now. I'm just about mostly all my personal stuff. I mean, I probably got 30% still my little tawdry trinkets here, stuff that I use for video editing on my other channel. But my Mighty Mac Pro, most of my Mighty Mac Pros have been boxed up and moved to Lake Tahoe. And so I'm looking forward to hopefully unboxing all those things and putting them back. I'm putting up a new workspace there. Just for all you people that don't know, I'm in the Apple Eco. Let me say that again twice. Apple ecosystem. Which is good. A little dry. This is just a little bit dry. Maybe it was a little bit too moist the first few times I had some. I'm really getting a lot of sweetness on this. A lot of sweetness. But anyway, Apple came out last week and has, in some ways, they have exceeded themselves, although some people would say it's about time that they finally got around to really making the iPad have a lot more functionality. And I guess what I'm talking about is legacy functionality. It isn't just the newest. Sometimes Apple tries to compensate. It's sort of like when your dad, you went to your dad and said, "Hey, I want to borrow the car and I want to go on this date," and he says, "Sorry, it's like a brand new car and I'm not going to let you drive it." And so he kind of compensates and says something like, "Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go for a drive on Sunday afternoon and I'll let you drive." It's like, no, it's not the same thing. I get to drive the car, but he's going to be there. It's like a family outing kind of thing. You want to drive the new car because you want to go on a date, and it's a whole different concept right there. But so the dad says, "Well, you know what? We'll go for a family drive on Sunday, and you can drive. I'll let you drive." Again, quite not. It's not really a good compensation, but yet. It's sort of like, okay. And Apple kind of has done that in the past with the iPad. They put in these little gestures in there that kind of sort of make it like a little bit more of a laptop or a desktop experience. And although they were like, okay, that's kind of a cool little trick, side-by-side apps or, programs, whatever. Apps, actually more appropriate, apps. Side by side, and you have an app switcher now, and you can close these things out, and you can switch in between them, and isn't that cool? Well, yeah, it's like, but I wanted a mouse support, New Apple, the iPad coming out last year, awesome machine. I'm gonna probably maybe be making some of my videos on that soon, but it still didn't have real file support. You couldn't plug in an external drive or a flash drive. And now, with this new iOS 13, you can plug in a mouse if you want to and use it as a secondary input device. Now you can plug in supposedly lots of different external drives and flash drives and have access to those files and open them up and get them going. And you can work on them. So again, those are some huge, huge things. So again, I don't know. I remember when the first iPad came out, I wasn't a big fan. I think I waited about a year before I got one. But I remember Steve Jobs was really critical of things like styluses and anything to do with the iPad. The iPad is more of it was supposed to be this human interface. Okay? Everything else is kind of like second and third hand. You have a mouse or you have a keyboard. Now keyboards, you have to have it because you got to type. You got to type in text. That makes sense. You got to have that. Okay. Even Steve Jobs knew that. But again, a mouse or a stylus, that's like, no. You pick this device up and your hand is the mouse. Your hand is the stylus. In other words, he was trying to get humanity and technology more intimate. But now it just seems like, and again, the very first time I picked up an iPad and started going, woo, 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 and tapping on those little icons, I'm going, oh, wow, this changes everything. And in many ways it does. It still does. And again, a tablet experience, when you want a good tablet experience, these iPads are awesome. Awesome little machines. But people have been crying, like, I want it to be more like a laptop. Well, guess what? They pretty much made it a laptop. I'm sure maybe a few of you techie guys out there like Richard T. I know you, Richard T. I know what you're thinking already. I know. You're going, but it's not a laptop. It's still a tablet. Well, after iOS 13, I think the line is pretty blurred now. Now, I'm not faulting it. I think it's great. Now, not the last enemy. The last horizon to be crossed, I guess, will be when some of the more professional programs that you run on either an iMac or a MacBook will actually make the transfer to the iPad, i.e. I'm talking about Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere, maybe Adobe Premiere Elements, full Photoshop, those three. And in fact, the full Photoshop is supposedly it's going to be unwrapped here real soon for the iPad. So anyway, so again, I just don't know what it's going to be like. And then the other big thing, most of you might, who know I'm a Mac person, or the big new cheese grater Mac came out. That's right. You can now take raw milk cheese and regular cheese and super semi-hard cheese and hard cheese, and man, you can go to town. It is, I'm telling you, the new cheese grater Mac is definitely real cheesy. It's great. Okay. Now, even though the price tag is way beyond my pocket ability to pay for something like that, even though maybe, I'd say 5 years ago, I probably would have been all in to buy this thing. But I have to be honest and say, I just can't justify. I think it's like, for me, I would have to get, it would be close to what, $11,000? I mean, the stand itself, just for the monitor, is $1,000. Now, I understand it's got this special engineering and it's all wonderful and great. There will probably be in maybe a year or two a significant price reduction on some of these things. They might come down a skosh. Knowing Apple, they'll come down a skosh. But I just don't see myself getting one. I'll tell you why. I had the original, well, not the original, but I had one of the original 1.5 Mac Pros, and I love it. I still have it today. I'm probably going to get it refurbished though, because I want to keep it. The problem is that it's 32-bit, and now everything is 64-bit, and so it's obsolete. It's definitely obsolete, and it can only run certain things now. It can't run the newest software, but it can still do great things. That's one of the things about the Apple computers is that they will retain their value for a long, long time. You're just not going to be able to maybe run the latest and the greatest software. Okay, but I just have realized that every time I invest in a new system, a new machine, whether it's an iMac or a MacBook Pro, or the recent 2013 iMac Pro, our Mac Pro. And I'm happy with my iMac Pro 2013. It took me 3 years to get it. I think I got it in 2016. And I got it at a reduced savings. I think I saved $300 on it, so I was happy about that. But it was brand new, and I love it, and I still love it. It's a great machine, great little machine. I don't think it gets a lot of love because a lot of people, they just want the... They just want, well, it's just like going back to the Game of Thrones thing. Fans and consumers, they kind of like cry for these innovations, and sometimes companies have no choice but to kind of acquiesce and try to meet the demands. And on one hand, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but on one hand, it's just like I don't know. It just seems like okay. I asked a friend of mine in the computer business a long, long time ago when I first got into computers. I said, when will the technology kind of stabilize? He said, maybe about 6 months. 6 months? Yeah, after you're dead. I went, okay, great. So anyway, the bottom line is that, I'm not going to be, sorry, Tim Cook, if you're watching this video. He kind of checks my videos out just to see what I'm thinking because he knows that I'm like the average Apple person. And unfortunately, Tim, I just am not going to invest that money into the new Mac Pro. I'm just not going to do it. Probably what I might do if I really needed a new machine for video editing, because most of my video editing machines, they still work, but they're very, very slow. That's the problem. So now I make, on average, I make a weekly video on my other channel, and that's about between a 10 and 20-minute video, depending on what I'm trying to say. And the render times can be quite long. We're talking maybe 45 minutes, an hour for maybe a 20-minute little video. It's in 4K. I think I do 60 frames a second. I can't remember now. But anyway, again, I don't need to crank out my videos in under, say, 10 minutes or half an hour. Now, some real true professionals, they're doing stuff with astronomical amounts of frame rate, and they're shooting on red cameras, and they're shooting at maybe 8K now or 6K. And, they've got to be able to crush those bits and, and get those things rendered as quickly as possible so that they can, get it out there to wherever else it needs to go. So I understand, and again, I can see a lot of maybe motion picture companies and people that really do video editing as a real profession, maybe investing in a couple of these because they have the capital to do that, and it would be cost effective for them probably to do that. So, but for me, it's just a little humble YouTuber, who just makes a couple of videos, maybe assemble a little video once a week. And maybe actually this video here I make now. Now again, I'm hoping that once I get back, maybe Lord willing, creek don't rise. Hopefully I can maybe make a little bit more of an attempt to put out a couple more videos a month, and maybe even once a week again. That would be kind of nice. But it takes time, and again, I don't always have the time that I would like to do it. So anyway. Just for those of you who kind of watch what I want to say about tech stuff, great. That's pretty much all it is. I think that I keep saying I need to really learn more video editing on the iPad. I think that's probably a little bit better for me at this point in time. Pipe cleaner. And I know that this new iPad Pro I have can handle these videos that I'm making. So this is what it's going to do. I'm going to try and assemble this one on my iPad if I can, and just see what I can do with it. So there you go. Alrighty, so. All right, so guys, I'm gonna, which is not uncommon for me, I'm gonna get a little controversial with some of y'all here, and some of you might, want to start putting thumbs down or hating my guts and all this. But I want to challenge some people to think about some things. Okay, this is Pride Month. I could hear a lot of groans out there when, oh no, you're not going to talk about that. Well, I'm going to talk about it in light of, I guess there's a YouTuber, I'm not going to mention his name or show his picture, but he clearly is of the LGBTQRSTUV community, and he has been raising a big stink about a guy named Steven Crowder, who was a guy I used to watch. Not a lot, but I like Steven Crowder. He's kind of zany and crazy, and sometimes I have to really pay attention to him because he does some really zany things. He's kind of a master at parody. You gotta sometimes he makes these knockoffs of movie films and segments of it's like he's really talented. He's really good at that, and it's just like wow, he kind of nails this, and he kind of like it's a little satire. It's a spoof kind of a thing. For those of you who know Steven Crowder, and he's pretty controversial. He's a conservative, I guess. He's just a conservative YouTuber. That's it. Anyway, this other guy who got his feelings hurt, has pretty much tried to get him banned and deplatformed from YouTube. along with anybody else that certainly has a differing opinion than he does. And I'm going to play maybe some clips, maybe at the end, or I'll even link the videos at the end, I don't know, of some people trying to talk to people in LGBT pride parade kind of things. And, I got to tell you, folks, look, if you're gay, I don't have a problem with that, okay? You do you. That's fine. But again, you have to understand that the whole world is not going to give you a big pat on the back and say, "Oh, what's wonderful," Sorry, guys. We live in a world that has differing viewpoints, and some people are going to agree with you, and some people are going to disagree with you. And disagreement is not discrimination. I'm sorry. And I know some of you feel differently about that. And yeah, it's okay. That's your opinion. I respect that, but I disagree with you. If you think, well, you can't say that anymore. You can't say that anymore. That's hate speech. No, it's not hate speech. It's just I disagree with certain things about LGBT philosophy, or politics, or both. And I just think that when you look at some of the way these people act, and I'll put the links in the bottom below, I'm sorry, you don't come off looking really positive here. There are people that absolutely hate Catholics, and you probably wonder, well, do you lay awake at night worrying about these people that hate Catholics, that think Catholics are evil and they're going to go to hell, and they're not saved, or they're not even Christians. And you probably would be surprised to know that I don't give them a second thought. Don't give them a second thought. There are people now that think that Catholic priests are equivalent to Nazis. Why do I say that? Because it's okay to hate Nazis, And all you got to do, if you're in a political debate or you don't like somebody, you just label them a Nazi or a racist, and it's okay to hate them then. See how that works? Really, really interesting stuff. So anyway, but just a lot of intolerance. And I'm just, I just kind of like scratch my head and I say, okay, guys, what's the point? And I'm gonna just keep my comments kind of brief on this one, because I don't need to go into all those details. Again, I'll put some links in the bottom if you wanted to go and watch some of if you're the group, LGBT group folks, you want to go watching some of your peers and how they act. And it's not very becoming. I'm just going to say that right up front. So I was going to make another point as I was making that. It was about the videos. I'll put like 2 or 3. There's 2 or 3 videos that are interesting. And again, it's just as a reference point, just something you need to think about. But here's the thing I want to challenge a lot of people to think about. Okay. June, I guess now, is officially Pride Month. Why is it that other marginalized groups, minority groups, get a day and you folks get a month? How does that work? Just asking. It's kind of ballsy, It's like, well, we're not going to take a day. We're going to take a whole month. Okay, well, good on you, I guess. But we also in June celebrate, and we celebrated just the other day, the 75th anniversary of D-Day. And I want you to think about something. I want you to think really long and hard about this. Those young men and D-Day on June 6th, I don't know if it was like 60,000, 90,000 guys that stormed the beach. That morning, 5:30 in the morning, those guys started climbing over those cargo nets into those transports and getting ready to go ashore. And 9,380 some odd guys, that was the last morning that they ever had. Many of them did not see the sunset that day. Their sun set forever that day. Those guys, as scared as they were, and it's okay to be scared and fearful in harm's way. That's how heroes are made. Heroes are made by facing hazard and going in harm's way, okay? And it's okay to be afraid because you're facing those fears. And so those young men, they literally laid down their lives so people like you, especially in the LGBT community, can quote unquote have your rights. But what you're trying to do, many of you are trying to take the rights away from other people. And that's wrong. Maybe back in the 50s, early 60s, the contemporary culture was conservative. And you had to kind of, you had to conform to that worldview for the most part. But now things have been kind of turned upside down on their heads. Now the contemporary prevailing culture is very, very progressive. Do I dare even say communist? And so now, if you are going against the groupthink now, like I noticed all the businesses are now pandering to you LGBT, you gay folks. They're putting little rainbows on everything. See, we're rainbow friendly, we're gay friendly, because they're just looking for your money. So the world, yes, has changed. Has it changed for the better? I'd have to say, I don't know. How many of these people that are screaming and upset because they got their feelings hurt, like this other guy, I'm not going to mention his name, I'm not going to even, dignify him or respect him by even mentioning his name or showing his picture, because he's so contemptible that he doesn't deserve mention, okay? But how many of you guys, or these people that you see in these videos, ask yourself, the people you see in these videos, how many of them would have been willing to lay down their life for the freedoms that we enjoy? I don't think very many of them would. A lot of them hate this country. They hate the president. I'll put another video about this one guy. This one guy was just over the top, hitting people, spitting on people in front of his kids. And you see the kids in the car, and they're just shocked to see their dad being handcuffed and called away to jail. I don't know what happened to the kids. They were sitting in the car with these big looks of, what? And it's sad. It's sad to see these kids have to be exposed to seeing adults and grown-ups acting like this. But again, you have to compare and contrast the young men who were leading selfless lives as opposed to people in, say, pride parades that lead very selfish and indulgent lives. I know some of you are pretty mad at me saying that, but think about it. You're screaming out for a feeling, your sexual feelings, your sexual whatever it is. You've put sex on a plateau. It's like a drug for so many people. And you've wasted and probably invested most of your life into this cause. And does it better the world? See, those young men on D-Day, they made this world a better place by their sacrifices, by that crusade. What have you people, I would honestly challenge you to ask you, what have you contributed to society other than your own selfish causes? Now again, I'm sorry if I'm being harsh to some of you. And I know some of you are homosexuals and gay people and stuff, and I don't dislike you. Some of you I'm very fond of. I consider you my friends. But you've got to stop and compare and contrast. That's why history is so important. That's why you have to have a good foundation of history. It's so funny. My last video about Game of Thrones, people were bringing up Game of Thrones history like it was the real thing. But in fantasy world, history means an awful lot. But in the real world, you could care less. You need to understand that those young guys, when they stepped off into those Higgin boats early in that bleak morning, and I can only imagine the raw fear. Many of them were just throwing up, in their helmets because of that fear. Their bodies were just, they had to overcome that fear. Only to finally get to the shore. Some of them didn't even get there. They were just blown up by the onshore gunfire or the machine gun fire or landmines. They just, one minute they were there, and the next minute they were gone. Didn't even know what hit them. And you compare and contrast that kind of courage and bravery and self-sacrifice with some of the pettiness that I'm going to show you in these videos that you go and watch. I don't know how can you be prideful of that? Okay, sorry to end on such a heavy note. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And remember, light up your world and light up your pipe. And we'll see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye-bye.